Hello, my name is Michelle, and this is Michelle's Fibers Podcast. No? Hello, my name is Michelle, and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. Today is Monday, June 30th, and this is episode number 55. I am in New York City, and I am joined by my buddy, Nilo. You're going to look at the camera, Nilo? Oh, there we go. This is my daughter's dog, so I thought I would snuggle him for a few minutes at least while I did my introduction. As you can see, I'm here in the city, and it is Monday. It's a little bit earlier than maybe I would have podcasted. My daughter and her fiance are out of the apartment. They met in college while they were part of a ballroom dancing club, and they are actually having their first dance choreographed. So they have been spending time practicing. So they decided that since there was some other things that had happened earlier in the day that they would take off for a couple of hours, and I thought since I had the apartment to myself, it was a good opportunity to podcast. So I don't have quite as much maybe to share as I would if I had podcasted later in the week, but again, opportunity knocked and I decided to grab it. So let's see, I am here for the rest of this week. I have been taking some footage, some video footage for a vlog. I may or may not publish it. I haven't decided, and that's kind of where that's at. But I do have some if I decide to put a vlog together of my time. Regardless, I will, I'm sure, talk about the things that I have been doing both this week in this podcast and in the next podcast, whenever that is, whether it is next week when I'm in New Hampshire or the week after when I get home. I do have some finished, no finished objects, but I do have several new projects to talk about. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I have no finished objects, so we're going to go straight into my project bag. I have several new projects to talk about. I think I'll give a quick update on my knitted down sweater. I didn't finish it before I left. I don't think I did anything else after I podcasted last. I don't even think I took it out. So that's waiting for me at home. It will probably come to New Hampshire with me and may or may not get done next week, and you know what? That is fine. The other project that is at home that I can report on, I'm actually very excited, my Northeasterly blanket. I finished all of my June colors before I left for New York. I was so excited, actually. I had 5 colors left. I think I did 4 out of the 5 on Wednesday was when I podcasted. Or Tuesday. When did I podcast? No, I think I podcasted on Wednesday, didn't I? Whatever day it was, I finished. And yeah, I think it was Wednesday. And then Thursday morning, I did the second color, or the last color rather, and the little like 6 rows of the first color that repeated at the end. And then I threw it in my washing machine and washed it on gentle, spun it out, and then I laid it out on my deck before I went off to my workout. So yeah, that would have been on Thursday, so that it could dry. So I blocked it even, and then it was actually, the deck was really warm because it had been like, 100 degrees earlier that week, so there was still a lot of heat radiating off the deck. So it was pretty much dry by the time, by mid-afternoon, and I brought it in. It was starting to sprinkle a little bit, so I brought it in and just kind of laid it on the table, but later that night, I actually snipped all of the loose ends, and before I washed it, I wove in like the first end and the last end. I hadn't done anything with any of those, so all of my ends are woven in. I'm very, very excited. And that is ready to go. When I hopefully get back, I will have my July colors, although they're running a little bit behind schedule. One of the 2 dyers in Wool & Woman's Fiber had a baby at the very beginning of June, so it's taken a little bit for things to kind of get going again, and that is a-okay, but that feels so good. Okay, I think the other project that is a little less exciting, and it's only going to be exciting because it's an old whip that I'm finally kind of bringing back, is my Bahama Advent wrap, which I just barely pulled out and did a little work on when I arrived here in the city. I think I did like 2 rows. Yeah, so that is where this is at, very much unchanged from the last time that I did it. I'm hoping to get some work done on it. This is again, the Bahama Advent Wrap by Toni Lipsey. It is a Tunisian crochet project, so I had to remind myself a little bit. I haven't worked on it in over a month because I worked on it. I did most of the work when I was on my way back and forth from Michigan. And then it pretty much got set aside in favor of some of the other projects that I was doing throughout the month of June. But I do really like it. I love how my colors are blending. I am using my Advent calendar that I got this past Christmas from Fangirl Fibers, which was the Beauty and the Beast themed one. And I am on the 4th color. So if I hold it this way, you can see how I'm blending my colors in. So what I'm doing is, well, I'll do it on the 2nd color. So the last 3 rows, I'm doing a total of 15 rows in each color. And the last 3 rows, I alternate with the next color. I work 9 rows of a color, and then I alternate again for the next 6 rows. If that makes any sense. But that's the way that I am doing that one. So I think this will be a great project this winter. I'm excited to block it actually because it's a little bit warped. I don't know if warped is the right word. You can kind of see it a little bit. I don't know, is it showing up? I don't know if you can see. It's kind of how it's just not flat, I guess is the best way. But I'm pretty sure it is going to block out, and it'll block out really, really nicely. So, okay. That one done. Let's get into a little bit more fun projects or newer things. How's that? So we'll start with my Bayday tank. The Bayday tank is by Briana Luppino of Little Wolf Knits. And I am doing this with my Hedgehog Fibers sock minis. And I actually literally just finished, actually I'll go this way, the back. And I'm getting ready. I will end up picking up stitches. I believe if I glanced ahead at the project right, I'm going to pick them up right here and here for the right and left fronts, and then join it at some point. But that is what I got. I have, where's my little ball of yarn? Oh no, it's running away. That was close. I have that much left of the first color. And I know when I finish the first side, I end up with 20 stitches, and then I have to do the second side, and I'm assuming that's another 20 stitches. I don't know how far this is going to take me, and I don't want one side to be in one color and one side to be in the other. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to handle that. This is the next color in the sequence. So if I hold them together, maybe what I could do is I could weigh this. I do have my little scale that I brought with me. I could weigh it, and I could use approximately half of it or a quarter of it, and then start blending in this color to finish the side, and then I can do another quarter blended, and then finish the side with this, and then they'll get cut, and then I'll go over on the other side. I could do a quarter straight, blend for the last quarter, and then finish again with that. That could work because I kind of want to bring this color into the front, so there's at least a little bit of a transition, and it doesn't feel like this is totally, you know, the back is totally on its own, but it is the color that I liked the least, so but that could work. That actually might be a really good way to approach it. I started this on the bus on Friday when I was headed down here to the city, and again, I just finished the back. So this is moving along pretty good. The second project that I started on the bus was my New York City socks, which I am knitting out of, here's my ball of yarn, Trey Liz. That's the one that I decided on, and I am loving it. But here, before I go too far, here's my yarn label, Trey Liz. It is, I believe Aries is the, like her sock line is an 8515 superwash merino nylon, but the color is Birthday Girl. And I cast on the cuff in the bus on the way down, and then I left it, and then I started knitting. I took it with me. We went out to the dog park, and then we went out. Mostly I worked on it on Saturday when we were on the subway heading to Queens for something, which I'll talk about more later. But look, that's what I have so far. I am... All right, so that's how much I have left. What, an inch and a half? Because again, my middle finger, yeah, sorry, that doesn't sound good. But anyway, that's, I go to the tip of my middle finger. So I would say I got about an inch and a half or so left before I do the cuff. And I might work on that this evening and get the cuff, get the heel rather, not the cuff, the heel turned so that the foot is then ready to go. We're going, my daughter and I are going to a show tomorrow night. I don't know if I could quite get the foot done. What I really would prefer to work on would be the second leg, but I don't have another set of needles. But we are going to a show tomorrow night, and I will bring this for sure. So that is what this project is. I put it in my Wool & Woman's fiber bag that I am tucking into my little backpack. It's fitting perfectly. I can tuck it right in here, and then I just take the end and knot it, and it stays nicely closed, and it's working a treat. All right, the last project, I think, I have some spinning too, but yeah, the last project is yesterday. One of their friends came over, and we had a game time, and while we were sitting there, come on, started my yarn cozy. So I got all of the increases done, if I go like that, and I have to do 3.5 inches from here. So I would say I'm not quite halfway. I got quite a bit done yesterday. So this is the Yarn Cozy by Knitty Natty, and it looks just like the one that I had on my sock yarn, actually, if you noticed. I am using my leftovers from the Yarn Over New York yarn Manhattan Henge that I knit my Skyline tee in, which I'm very excited to wear. We have plans on Thursday to go to Brooklyn to visit some yarn shops, so I'm going to wear it that day, I think. But I wanted to definitely make a yarn cozy out of that yarn so that I can have that to use on the regular, even in the dead of winter, and it will make me smile and think of my time here in New York City. So that, I think, is all the goodies in this little project bag. So the last thing that I will tell you about is my spinning. I took my spinning wheel out this morning. We were just kind of hanging out, and I have spun probably, come on, hooked on here, I would say about half of my batch of fiber. So that's what I got left. This is the fiber from a Spunky Eclectic, and it is her Galaxy, I think Galaxy series is probably the best way to put it, but it is Mars is the color. Do I not have it in my, what my list here? Oh, here it is, yeah. Mars, and it's a BFL. So I did finish, I showed you last time, the first skein of yarn, so that is the first half of the second skein of yarn. So we'll see how much I get done on that. We'll see if I finish my socks. Actually, I meant to say that, as I talked about last week, I have been knitting a pair of socks every time I come and visit my daughter here in the city, but we're not on the go like we typically are. And that's when I kind of have reserved the socks, is for the on-the-go time. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if I can actually complete the whole pair, because when I'm here in the apartment, I'm tending to pull out other things. So if I get them done, I get them done. And if I don't, I don't. But that is what I have going on in my project bag for this week. I do have some project dreams to talk about this week. They're all baby items. So my niece is pregnant. She is expecting in November, and we are going to be doing a baby shower for her at the end of August. Actually, it's going to be the same weekend as my daughter's wedding, because that's just when it works out. So I was sitting here when I first got into town and thinking about what I wanted to make for her, and I kind of went hunting around, and I think what I have decided to do is I'm going to do a blanket, and I think I'm going to do the Warm Welcome Baby Blanket by Jess Coppom. It is a crochet blanket, and I'm really liking the ripple effect. I mean, it's a ripple, probably very similar to my Crochet Advent Baby Blanket. But what I'm liking about this particular project is the color blocking, and I think that it just has an appeal to me. I actually really like the colors in this blanket. So when I get back home, actually we go to New Hampshire, and then at the end of that weekend we're doing a bridal shower for my daughter, and my sister-in-law, my niece's mom, is going to be there. So I'm going to ask her if she has any particular colors. I don't even know if she knows what she's having, if she's even, I don't know if it's too soon for her. It might be too soon for an ultrasound, or if she even wants to know. She might not want to know. In which case I can make it a little bit more neutrally, so I'll get a sense of that. But I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. I think it'll work up really quickly. I want to make something, but I don't want it to take my entire summer. I have other projects and things that I want to be making as well. So yeah, that I think I'm definitely going to make. And then I'm also considering making a couple of toys to go with it. And two toys that I made, I think it was back in 2018 or 19 for a couple of nieces on my side, were the Rainbow Zebra Amigurumi and a Giraffe Teething Ring Rattle. I will link to both of those, my projects, in the project page. Hopefully I've popped some pictures in here though, so you can at least get a visual while we're talking about them. They're both really fun. I think they're going to work up really, really quickly. The Rainbow Zebra, it's by Caroline and Guzman, and I did it in Knit Picks. Maybe it's Brava. I don't remember. It's a Knit Picks, one of the cheap acrylic Knit Picks yarn. I think that's the Brava, isn't it? And it's all these rainbow multicolors, white with like different stripes of color. Super, super cute. It was a really, really fun make. So I think that one will be fun. But then the little Giraffe Teething Ring Rattle was just stinking adorable, and I have some more of the little rattle rings that I had bought when I did that one initially, and I've kind of been toying around with making another one of those for the next baby that came around. That is by Amy's Crochet Cave. That one took me less than a day, the rattles, so that should work up super, super quick. So I'm thinking I'll do those three things, maybe get a book and call it good. I was debating about possibly making a little baby sweater, but I might save that, and once I know what she's having, make a sweater as a Christmas gift. So the baby will be born, she's due like middle of November, so sometime in November. But baby sweaters work up quickly, so I should be able to knit a little baby sweater probably for Christmas. So that's my rough plan on that and those project dreams. So day to day, I know it hasn't been super long, but so far, here as we're at Thursday, it was a very busy day of preparing. Although that said, I never felt overly stressed. I managed to relax and do some preparations and then relax and go run an errand. And so I had a fairly slow morning. I went out around 10 o'clock and did my workout, and then came back and I had a couple of hours, and then I had a haircut. And I can't remember, I think I packed in between my workout, my haircut. No, because I think my haircut was at 1. I think when I got home from my haircut, yeah, that's when I went upstairs and I folded laundry and packed, and I got everything packed up, and that was all ready to go by 3-ish. And then I had intentions to just sit and do some yarny things, but I decided a better course of action was to bring my checkbook up to date and quicken, which I hadn't done in a couple of months. So I did that, which took me all the way until about 5:30 when my husband got home. And then from there we launched into a big water change of the fish tank. And finally, around 7:30, I think we were done, and we were able to sit and do a little relaxing before going to bed. But I was all prepped and ready to go. I set my alarm for, I think I set it for 4:15, but I woke up at 4, got up and took a shower, and we were on the road at, no, I think I set it for 4:30, but I woke up at 4. Yeah. And because we didn't want to leave till 5:15. And took my shower, got on the road at 5:15 so I would get to the bus station. I wanted to be there for 6. The bus didn't leave until 6:30, and it's not a big bus station, but I happen to know from taking this bus in the past that people will queue up in line, and I wanted to be towards the front of the line so that I had my choice of seats because I didn't want to get stuck way in the back of the bus. And as it happened, I was like 4th or 5th person back. And I was traveling by myself. The configuration of the bus was 2 seats, 1 seat. So I was able to sit in a solo seat all by myself, and I actually had the very first seat that could be occupied. There was 1 seat in front of me that had the trash can in it, but then when we picked up an alternative or a secondary driver in Connecticut, the primary driver sat in that seat. So that's why the trash can was there, was to reserve that seat for him. So I was in the first public seat that you could have, which was a beautiful thing. The bus was so cold. Oh my gosh, I was freezing by the time I got to New York, and it was a little cooler that day. It was cloudy and low 70s, 70, not higher than 75. I want to say it was 72 or 73. So it wasn't all that warmer when I got off the bus, but at least I was moving around. And I had turned the vents off and everything, but the drive itself was uneventful though. It was very smooth. We made 1 stop in Connecticut for about 15 minutes at a Love's gas station. I grabbed a coffee and a banana pudding, actually, I think became my breakfast. And we arrived, we were like 10 minutes late, which actually is really essentially on time for all intents and purposes. And my daughter was waiting to greet me. I was the first one off the bus. She was very surprised. Got my suitcase and we headed off. And stopped for lunch, had a salad, and then went up to her apartment and just pretty much hung out for the rest of the day. At that point, her fiance was still working, and I was kind of tired, and I had been up since like 4 in the morning. So once he got off work, we ended up taking the dog to the dog park. So walked for a little bit, and then came back and kind of had an early-ish night. It was like 9:30. We were kind of setting things up. I've been sleeping on an air mattress in front of their couch, kind of like right at my feet, actually, is where I've been sleeping on an air mattress. There's just enough space between the couch and the TV stand. If I quick tip. So there you go. That's where I sleep. And get this, see, now I've messed it. So that was Friday. Saturday morning, we woke up, had a really slow and quiet morning. They are late sleepers. They don't usually get up until 9:30. It doesn't matter what time I go to bed. I tend to sleep or wake up early. So I was awake around 6:30, but I just hung out. I laid in bed for a little while and then sat on the couch with my iPad and did some reading and relaxing, and then let's see that was the morning that my daughter and I, after we kind of got up and had our late breakfast around 11 o'clock, we headed out and we went to the Met and enjoyed that. We had done the Met on my very first visit. I'm pretty sure it was my very first visit we did the Met. So it had been like 3 or 4 years, I guess. This is my 4th. 2022 would have been the first visit, 23, 24, yeah. This is so 3 years ago. since I had been. So that was fun, and she can get in really inexpensively as a New York resident. Gets me in for that, so it's really great. So it's kind of no harm, no foul. We spend as much time as we want, and then we leave. So we got there about 11 or 11:30, and we spent a couple of hours kind of poking around, and then I'm like, okay, I am visually overstimulated. I need to sit. I need a little break. I need some coffee. So we found a little cafe in the museum, got some lattes, and just kind of sit and chill for, I don't know, 20 minutes or half an hour, and then got up and explored some more. And then I would say by 3-ish, we were pretty much decided we were done, 3:30 maybe, and headed back. We stopped at a little, we hadn't had any lunch, so I said I need a snack. So we ended up getting a piece of lemon cake, a gluten-free lemon cake. We found a little bakery that did all gluten-free, because my daughter's gluten-free, and got a lemon cake that we each got a piece of lemon cake. And then we also stopped at Levain Cookies and Levain Bakery, and I got a cookie, which I actually just ate today, and that's actually been my lunch today, so I haven't done super well with eating. And came back, and I promptly took a nap. Actually, we must have gotten back more like 3 o'clock, because, no, maybe it was 3:30. Because we were chilling for a little while, and they're like, you know what, you look really tired, you go ahead and take a nap. You were up, yesterday was a big day of travel, and we had plans to go into Queens to a night market. So they're like, go ahead and take a nap. So I did, and that felt really good. I only napped for maybe half an hour, but it was great. And then we left and went and took the subway over to Queens to a night market. And this market it was just primarily food stalls. And there must have been, gosh, 50 of them. It was all down, I don't know, like a parking lot of sorts, although there was like a field behind. So I don't know, I couldn't really tell what space that is on the regular, but so the aisle that you came in on that side, and then there was a set back to back with it, a big wide space, and then another row with back-to-back stalls. And each row had, must have been 20 to 25, so it might have been closer to 75, 80, 90, I don't even know how many vendors. Like, it was a ton of vendors, a lot of very different ethnic cuisines. We had, I know one of the things I had was a chicken. It was a Filipino chicken, barbecued chicken on a stick. I can't remember the name of them, but they're cheese, the Ethiopian, like a cheese bread. I had an egg tart, which we ended up going back and getting more and bringing back for breakfast for Sunday morning. I had a couple of other things. I can't even remember, but that was good. So we did that, and then we didn't get back, because then it was like another hour, a little over an hour back. So it was almost 10 o'clock, I want to say, by the time we got back in. So we crashed at that point, went to bed. Again, Sunday morning was really slow and quiet, and I was so proud of myself. I slept all the way until 7 o'clock in the morning. Yes, color me surprised. Eventually in the summertime, I get to that point where I can sleep a little bit later, but it takes a good chunk of the summer to kind of get out of that school mode of waking up early. And then my daughter and I went out to a street bazaar, which was super fun. It was on like a tennis court, I think. It was, oh my gosh, it was so hot. It was like 90 degrees out, and the heat just radiating off the concrete was immense. I could just feel like the sweat rolling down my back. It was awful. But I got something super cool. It's one of the vendors, Designs by Soul, and it's some jewelry. And I got this, I'm not going to untape it from the thing, but I got this necklace. Oops, it came off. Okay. So this necklace, it'll stop spinning is made from authentic New York City streetlight lenses. Isn't it super cool? And then I actually got a pair of earrings to match. I thought it was so much fun. I don't need jewelry. Like, I got a ton of jewelry, but this was just so different and so unique. I'm like, oh, that I can kind of get behind. And it was just really cool. I debated about getting, there's the necklace again. I debated about getting a plain, like a single color, but I really liked kind of the effect of how that looks like the street light, because you get the red, yellow, green. And look at the green lens. Look, it's actually blue. I couldn't believe it. It's really cool. So that was super fun. So we did that, and then we came home about 12:30. We were back, and around 2:30 or so, one of their friends came over and hung out with us for the rest of the day. We played a game. Ribbon, I'm looking. I don't remember the name of it, and I don't see it on the shelf. I know it's right over here behind me, but I can't remember what was the name of it. It was like a 3-hour game. It took forever. Of course, they had to teach me, so that took a little bit longer. And then we had fish tacos for dinner, and it was like 8 o'clock by that point. And when Tessa left, we just kind of chilled, and we were very quiet, very, very low-key, very laid back until we went to bed. And today has been a very quiet day. My daughter had to work this morning. They had a phone call with with the florist, actually, and now they are off, like I said, dancing, practicing for the wedding. So I figured now was a great time to podcast, but where it's just been real quiet. It's super, super chill day, which has been great. I am not one, when I'm on vacation, that I need to be on the go all the time. I don't mind going and doing things, but I also really enjoy just kind of being chill and quiet. So, yeah, I think that's it. So with that, thank you so very much for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please give it a like and hit the subscribe button. I will have links down below in the show notes for all of the things that I have talked about. And you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin Michelle, KNITTINMICHELLE. And you can also send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. With that, I hope you have a fantastic week and happy knitting.